Like any youngster, I did my intermediate with BJC. I had this little interest for Hindi. I don't know how I picked it up. Probably Hindi serials baga chuse. First job as a teacher in a primary school. So I was teaching like 4th and 5th classes. Now every next level of education has helped me to understand my students better. When you teach something that is related to their world, their day-to-day experiences, so our vocabulary, our situations మీరు క్రియేట్ చేసి వాళ్ళకి నేర్పించినప్పుడు that's when they find the course interesting and they open up and talk to you. అంటే పిల్లలు చాలా తొందరగా జడ్జ్ చేస్తారు. You must be also doing, you guys. Let's say you have a new lecturer coming into your class.
Yes.
So the minute they open up and start, వీడికి వచ్చు లేదా వీడికి ఇంతే వచ్చు డిసైడ్ చేసేస్తాం కదా. So I was teaching them Hindi and నేను చాలా ప్రిపేర్ అయిపోయి క్లాస్కి వెళ్ళిపోయేదాన్ని చెప్పడానికి. వాళ్ళు చాలా కూల్గా మేడం జిరాక్స్ ఇచ్చేయండి అనేవారు. వాడు ఎప్పుడు వింటాడు స్టూడెంట్ వెన్ హీ రియలైజెస్ దట్ దిస్ టీచర్ ఇస్ వర్త్ లిజనింగ్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ క్రియేట్ దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంప్రెషన్, నో స్టూడెంట్ వుడ్ మిస్ అ క్లాస్ అన్న.
Coffee and Convo, where the conversations get alive.
Hello, ma'am. Welcome to Coffee and Convo.
Hi, Raj. Nice to be
Hello,
here.
welcome.
Deepika, nice to be here with you youngsters. Bubbling
Thank
with
you.
lots of energy.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And this gives us immense pleasure to have you with us and intermingling with you to the best class of conversations which will really instigate the zeal of motivation to all our audience and all the people out there who would be watching this conversation with us. So, Mrs. Surya Kanti Garu, we along with audience are anticipating to hear about you in your own words.
Yeah, okay. So, to start with, like any youngster, I did my intermediate with BJC. Probably those were the only groups we had when we were studying in MPC and BJC. I mean, everybody would either go into this and that. And after that, I did my graduation. So after graduation, that's when I felt like teaching would be an area where I would definitely excel. So I had this little interest for Hindi. I don't know how I picked it up. Probably Hindi serials baga chusedanni. Like when I was of your age, maaku there were very good Hindi serials on Doordarshan. ఇప్పుడు మీలా మాకు ఇన్ని ఛానల్స్ ఇన్ని ఓటీటీ ప్లాట్ఫామ్స్ ఇన్ని లేవు, బట్ దూరదర్శన్ హ్యాడ్ కపుల్ ఆఫ్ గుడ్ సీరియల్స్ అమ్మ బునియాదంలో విత్ వెరీ చేస్ట్ హిందీ. సో దట్స్ వేర్ ఐ పిక్డ్ అప్ దిస్ లవ్ ఫర్ హిందీ లాంగ్వేజ్. సో ఆ తర్వాత నేను we had a Hindi B.Ed training college. So then I thought maybe I should give a try. Like entrance undi rasanu, seat vachesindi. So I did my B.Ed training from Hindi medium.
That's so nice. You tried to explore your interest.
Yeah. So that was very interesting because the medium of instruction was Hindi. So for somebody who studied in English and talking in Telugu, studying in Hindi medium was really interesting, and we had very good lecturers. So we were blessed with good lecturers. So that's how that helped me in picking up my language and also my interest into teaching. So after doing that, I did a small job, my first job as a teacher in a primary school. So I was teaching like 4th and 5th classes. So that was my first job. So after that, then I thought maybe I should pursue my master's in education. సో ఎందుకంటే నాకు ఆ టీచింగ్ లో ఇంట్రెస్ట్ తెలుస్తోంది, బట్ సమ్హౌ నాకు ఎక్కడో టీచర్ ట్రైనింగ్ లోకి వెళ్ళాలి అన్న స్ట్రాంగ్ జీల్ అన్నమాట. సో దేర్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ దట్ వీ కెన్ డూ ఇన్ ద టీచర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్. సో దట్ వాజ్ ఆల్వేస్ మై అవుట్లుక్. సో దట్స్ హౌ ఐ ended up doing my master's in education. So master's in education చేసిన తర్వాత I worked for a couple of years in the same college where I studied my B.Ed. So they have a Pracharak training center. So that's where I trained the upcoming Hindi teachers. So వాళ్ళకి ఒక పేపర్ ఉంటుందన్నమాట, ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ అని. దాన్ని హిందీలో శైక్షిక్ మూల్యాంకన్ అంటాం.
Okay.
So that's where I worked for a couple of years. So with those youngsters who were becoming Hindi Pandits later on. Adi ayin tarvata, that's when I thought maybe I should do my research also in education. So కొంచెం మా ఇంట్లో వాళ్ళకి చదువుపిచ్చిలా అనిపిస్తుంది, but still with a very supportive family, I also did my Ph.D in education.
Okay, that's such a nice journey.
Yeah. And after that, I have been working. I worked as a lecturer for a couple of years. And then I entered into training where I was training the teachers. So probably that was the area which I thoroughly enjoyed, which was equally challenging because you are trying to train somebody who are already in the field for quite number of years. సో వాళ్ళు టీచర్లు అయ్యి వాళ్ళకి మనం ట్రైన్ చేస్తున్నాము అంటే మన దగ్గర ఆ సత్తా లేకపోతే కూర్చొని ఎవరు వినరు.
Of course.
And training is equally challenging because you will have to sustain the interest of your teachers who I was training. And ఏ ట్రైనింగ్ సెషన్ అయినా యూజువల్ గా ఒక 6 hours ఉంటుందమ్మా. సో ఫస్ట్ హాఫ్ లో పర్వాలేదు, సస్టైన్ చేయగలుగుతాం, బట్ సెకండ్ హాఫ్ లంచ్ బ్రేక్ ఒకటి బికాస్ దే ఆర్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ టీచర్స్ అండ్ వాళ్ళ వర్క్ లోడ్ అవన్నీ వాళ్ళకు ఉంటాయి. అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ లంచ్ లైక్ you all know how it is, like whether it's in a college or in an office or anywhere, after lunch is the difficult period. So that's where it's really tough to sustain the interest and get your objectives fulfilled. So that's how I work with this teacher training. And teacher training చేస్తున్నప్పుడు along with that, అనుకోకుండా నేను ఒక 8 months I worked with an engineering college. That was very accidental. So అక్కడ నేను అంటే I just tried that because I just wanted to know professional colleges ఎలా ఉంటాయి, because I come from arts కాబట్టి ఇంజనీరింగ్ కాలేజ్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, వీళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారు ఇంజనీరింగ్ కాలేజ్ లో. సో I just went into the administrative part and I also happened to handle their English classes and communicative English. So appudu I came across so many students coming from small towns, Telugu medium nunchi vachi struggling to express themselves in English. Eppudaina vallu leave letter rasevaru. So a leave letter చూస్తే నాకు చాలా బాధ వచ్చేది, ఈ పిల్లలు ఇన్ని తప్పులు చేస్తున్నారు, రేపు పొద్దున 4th year వచ్చేటప్పటికి క్యాంపస్ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ లో అది రియల్లీ ఫైండ్ ఆల్ దిస్ వెరీ ప్రాబ్లమాటిక్ అని. సో ఆ ఇన్స్టెంట్ తర్వాత దట్స్ వెన్ ఐ ఫెల్ట్ మేబీ I should start something on my own, and that's when I started a spoken English training institute, especially keeping in mind people coming from Telugu medium.
Okay.
Telugu medium nunchi vachina pillalu knowledge paranga technical skills chuste they are sharp amma, but not everybody. But kontamandi entante koncham aa English lack of communication valla koncham oka adugu venakestaru. So that's when I felt these kids have to be given a little push and they would rock. So that's how it is.
Wow. That is a very good initiative, and I really believe that a lot of people are actually benefiting from that.
Yeah, and also because you have been through a lot of journey with the education part itself, and it's very much motivating and inspiring to all the people, because no one takes this kind of things very much to a next level. You have done PhD in education, then M.sc in psychology. So that's something very much related to education and the students
Yeah,
itself.
I agree with Yash. It's like most of the people just see it, address it, and leave it. But you took it to the next level.
That's it.
Yes, and in fact, ఏమైందంటే నా every next level of education has helped me to understand my students better. So probably that helped me also in understanding what kind of problems as a teacher or as a trainer or in classroom, what do you have? So the more I studied, the better I understood my students.
Wow.
And it gave me to evolve as a better teacher.
I really hope there will be more teachers like you in the future.
Of course, we have plenty of such good teachers.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish this platform helps to identify some of them.
Yes, we'll try our best. Okay, so you were talking about teaching and coaching. So according to me, it's very descriptive. It always evolves and updates. So how is your methodology different from others? And what are the new customizations you would like to implement?
So, in the Kumundar, let's talk about right now what is happening.
Sure.
So, till ఇప్పుడు ఎలా అయిపోయిందంటే బిఫోర్ పాండమిక్ ఆఫ్టర్ పాండమిక్ లో వచ్చేసాం మనం.
Yeah.
Yeah. So till when this COVID, before COVID, I was pretty happy with my classroom teaching and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So because when I had my set of students and then I had my board and chalk or the marker, so it was quite easy. Like where face-to-face interaction is always effective in teaching. Like you get to see your student and you get to see their, a teacher can read the face, I tell you.
Yes, we agree with that. We totally agree.
పిల్లల మొహంలో క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్ ఉంటుంది అర్థం అవునప్పుడు. అది చూస్తే మనకు తెలుస్తుంది మాట మనం చెప్తుంది వాడు ఎంతవరకు ఫాలో అయ్యాడు లేదు అమ్మాయి కానీ అబ్బాయి కానీ. సో ఇమీడియట్లీ యూ కెన్ కనెక్ట్ టు ఇట్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ రీఅష్యూర్ దెమ్ what is happening with them. But suddenly what happened is with this, I had to switch over to online. So online was new for me as well. So initially nake chala, when I was not very keen to start my online classes. Aa effect untunda undada, will I be able to reach them the way I am doing it in my classroom? So I had all these of questions and inhibitions to start my online. And daniki mundara I did a small project for about 10 days with a college and that was online classes. So akkada experience entante pillal camera on chesevaru kaadu. So there were around 80 students, anni perlu kanpadtayi, pillalu kanpadaru.
Yeah.
So imagine you don't have anybody before you, yet you will have to speak as if everybody is there and motivate them and make them speak.
And so you have to stay motivated to continue the class.
I need to keep myself motivated. వాళ్ళు వింటున్నారు అని అనుకుంటూ.
And also అది like అదేదో మనం మాట్లాడుకున్నట్టు ఉంటుంది. Feels like we are like blurring ourselves. So that's not very interesting కదా.
అది చాలా డిమోటివేటింగ్ గా ఉంటుందమ్మా. సో హాఫ్ ద టైం ఏమవుతుంది పిల్లల్ని మోటివేట్ చేయడంలో, స్టూడెంట్స్ మోటివేట్ చేయడంలోనే అయిపోతామా. మీ కెమెరా స్విచ్ ఆన్ చేయండి, మీరు చేస్తే ఇట్ విల్ బి మోర్ ఎఫెక్టివ్, ఐల్ గెట్ టు నో, ఐల్ గెట్ టు సీ యూ, సో ఇట్ బికమ్స్ ఈజీ అని. సో ఆ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ తర్వాత లైక్ ఐ వాజ్ లిటిల్ హెసిటెంట్ ఇన్ స్టార్టింగ్ ఆన్లైన్ క్లాసెస్, బట్ ఫైనలీ ఐ డిడ్ అండ్ ఐ కెన్ very well tell that provided the teacher takes equal interest and the student is also equally interested in improving himself or herself, the online are also equally effective. So coming to my methodology, as you asked, so what I do is I make it a point that I connect to my student, Deepika. అంటే each student is different అమ్మా. ఇప్పుడు మీరు రాజ్ ఇద్దరు నా క్లాస్ అటెండ్ అవుతున్నారు అనుకోండి, let's say after, I mean, it's just for
Yeah, of course, yeah.
No worries.
for 1 week, I'll try to know you both. Tarvata, what I do is I try to customize it a little bit differently for Raj and you in the same class. అంటే నేను చెప్పే ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ప్రాబ్లీ యూ కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ అ డిఫరెంట్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్. ఓకే, మీరు లా చేస్తూనో ఏదో వస్తున్నారు, తను ఆర్కిటెక్చరో లేకపోతే ఇంజనీరింగ్ నుంచో వచ్చారు. సో మీని what kind of language or what would be your requirements where you are from? So I try to give examples so that they get related to what I'm teaching. So if I just give examples, నాకు సంబంధించినవి నాకు తెలిసిన ప్రపంచాన్ని ఇస్తే student won't relate.
Yes.
So when you teach something that is related to their world, their day-to-day experiences, so ఆ vocabulary, ఆ situations మీరు క్రియేట్ చేసి వాళ్ళకి నేర్పించినప్పుడు that's when they find the course interesting and they open up and talk to you. So I think the connect that I have with my students is my strength.
No, that is so nice. మీరు అంత కనెక్ట్ అయ్యి టీచ్ చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి వాళ్ళు కూడా పికప్ చేయగలుగుతున్నారు.
Yes.
Yeah,
ma'am. And coming to this kind of like mindset of the children or the students that you talked about, so I have something to ask. As it is said, psychology is a science and teaching is an art, and sciences never generate arts directly out of themselves. So what were the major challenges in student psychology? వాళ్ళ mindset అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి like what are the like initial challenges that you face?
Any kind of teacher ki sustaining the interest of the student becomes difficult amma. అంటే పిల్లలు చాలా తొందరగా జడ్జ్ చేస్తారు. You must be also doing, you guys. Let's say you have a new lecture coming into your class.
yes.
So the minute they open up and start, వీడికి వచ్చు లేదా వీడికి ఇంతే వచ్చు డిసైడ్ చేసేస్తాం కదా. Just the way a movie is decided after the first show, the fate of a movie.
Exactly.
So it is so important that you let your students understand how you are going to present yourself, transfer the knowledge that you have to them. So sustaining interest చాలా difficult గా ఉంటుంది. And handling school students is different, and once you are handling adults, ముఖ్యంగా నేను whatever I taught, I was always either teaching at the degree college level, and then ఇప్పుడు నా ట్రైనింగ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ లో అయినా కూడా I usually teach adults. So adults కి వచ్చేటప్పటికి ఏమవుతుంది అంటే you can never imagine that they are coming with zero knowledge.
No.
సో నేను ఎప్పుడు అనుకోలేను వీడికి ఏం తెలియదు లేదా ఈ అమ్మాయికి ఏం తెలియదు అని. I can never be under that impression. They have some basic knowledge, so that's where you will have to pick them up to the next level. So వాళ్ళకి తెలియనిది లేదు, కొంత తెలుసు, but there are some gaps where you need to address them, and then you can never give నీకు తెలియదు అన్నది ఎప్పుడు, we can never give that impression to the child. The child has so much within. I mean, if it is an adult, the student definitely has a lot. So you can never say that as a teacher, I know everything and you just have to listen to me. Now it is changing. I don't know, earlier maybe the teachers were like that, but now the teacher is more a facilitator. Like you will have to understand your student, and sometimes your student may be knowing a better than you. Then accept it and let them express themselves. So it cannot be a monologue, it has to be a dialogue.
Yeah.
So basic challenge in teaching or training is, Raj, sustaining the interest of the student.
Okay.
And language teaching కి వచ్చేటప్పటికి అది ఎలా ఉంటుంది అంటే, అన్ఫార్చునేట్లీ మనకి డిగ్రీ లెవెల్లో దే డోంట్ స్ట్రెస్ ద ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ లాంగ్వేజ్. మనకి కేవలం మిగిలిన సబ్జెక్ట్స్ అన్ని ఎలా ఉన్నా మనం ఏమంటాం, ఆ పాస్ మార్క్స్ వచ్చేస్తే ఆ ఇంగ్లీషు హిందీలో చాలు
అంటారు.
సో అలా ఐ వాజ్ టీచింగ్ హిందీ ఫర్ పిబి సిద్ధార్థ విజయవాడలో. సో ఐ వాజ్ టీచింగ్ దెమ్ హిందీ, అండ్ నేను చాలా ప్రిపేర్ అయిపోయి క్లాస్కి వెళ్ళిపోయేదాన్ని చెప్పడానికి. వాళ్ళు చాలా కూల్గా మేడం జిరాక్స్ ఇచ్చేయండి అనేవారు.
Oh,
Imagine, they are not small kids. I can't shout at them. They are all in this graduation. So, ma'am, Xerox icheyandi ma'am. So, I can't say no to that Xerox. And at the same time, I also should make them listen to my class. So,
Yeah.
those kind of challenges. So, వాడు ఎప్పుడు వింటాడు స్టూడెంట్ when he realizes that this teacher is worth listening. So if you can create that kind of impression, no student would miss a class. Anna.
wow. Yeah.
So that's the kind of teachers we should have. So student class ki రావాలి అనిపించాలి వాడికి. బాబు ఈవిడ వస్తున్నారా వెళ్ళిపోదాం అనుకుంటే మనం ఇలా వస్తుంటే స్టూడెంట్ ఆ పక్క నుంచి వెళ్ళిపోతూ ఉంటే it's never going to work.
I hope all the aspiring teachers out there can hear this and take the advice.